Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8. We are on chapter 1. Does anyone remember what section are we at?
Hare Krishna. We were reading that Swayambhuva Manu is chanting these prayers when he went to the forest and stood on one foot. And this was the special prayer. He mentioned some points that that Krishna is the cause of all the causes. Universe is coming from him. He's the creator of all the things, and he's the ultimate truth. He does not belong to a particular world, but people are not sectarian, so he's not sectarian. So and also yagya, we talked about yagya, that he's the receiver of all the yagyas, and Krishna has so many names and they are all non-different from him. Yeah. And the more we are trying to find happiness in this material world, more things we create and more problems arise from that. So we should rather just use the higher taste. Just as we get used to the higher taste, we can give up the lower taste. So we should get the Krishna consciousness is the higher taste, and the material world happiness that we think it's permanent is the lower taste. So we need to give it away for the higher taste.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll continue then with text 15. Ihate Bhagavan Isho.
Ihate Bhagavan Isho.
Nahi Tatra Visajjate.
Nahi Tatra Visajjate.
Atma Labhena Pur Artho.
Atma Labhena Purna Artho.
Nava Siddhanti Yenutam.
Nava Siddhanti Yenutam.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in opulence by His own gain. Yet He acts as the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this material world. In spite of acting in that way, He is never entangled. Hence, devotees who follow in His footsteps are also never entangled. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work binds one to this material world. If we do not act in Krishna consciousness, we shall be entangled like silkworms in cocoons. Silkworm in cocoon. You know the silkworm? By its own self, it creates a cocoon around itself, right? Then it's encaged in that cocoon. Of course, then it comes out as a butterfly. That's another thing. But this is how we are binding ourselves in this material world. What happens is we do some activity. For that activity, we are getting result, a reaction. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Even the law of physics say. So any activity we do, any action we do, we are getting a reaction. And that reaction is what continues to keep us here in the material world. But when we work for pleasure of Krishna, pleasure of Lord Vishnu, then we can get liberation, because those work done for pleasure of Vishnu or Krishna has no reaction, no material reaction, no karma in it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna appears in order to teach us how to work so that we will not be entangled in this material world. Our real problem is that we are entangled in materialistic activities, and because we are conditioned, our struggle continues through punishment in material existence, in one body after another, in different forms of life. So we are taking on different bodies, 8,400,000 species. Sometimes we are demigods, sometimes we are pig, going on. But Krishna is coming. Today is Gita Jayanti here in this part of the world. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago to give us this knowledge of how we should act, acting for His pleasure, so that we don't get these reactions, we don't get caught up in this action reaction. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mamaivam jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So we think we are enjoying, right? We may think, oh, I'm enjoying, I have this, I have that, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm enjoying. But Krishna is saying we're struggling. Most of us don't even understand that we are struggling in the material world. We don't realize that actually it's a misery being here. Krishna says this miserable temporary world, he's calling it in Bhagavad Gita, temporary world of miseries. Uh, so we are struggling here because we are in this material body conditioned. But actually, we are his part and parcel eternally. It's not that after liberation we can become God. No, we are eternally his fragmental parts. And here in this world, what we are doing, we are trying to enjoy with our senses and with our mind. But that actually is a struggle, not understanding. Like the camel, he eats thorns and thinks, so nice, so tasty. Actually, what the thorns are doing, they're pricking his tongue, bleeding his tongue, and he's tasting his own blood and thinking, oh, so yummy. So the Supreme Lord, the living entities are actually minute forms who are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is full in everything, and the small particles of the Lord are also originally qualified like Him. But because of their minute existence, they are infected by material attraction and thus entangled. So, Krishna, he never gets entangled or attracted to the material nature. He never gets a desire to enjoy the material nature. He's always enjoying the spiritual nature. It's we get captured by the material energy because we are very tiny, very minute. We must therefore follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then, like Krishna, who is never entangled by his material activities of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, we will have nothing for which to lament. Na vasidanti yenutam. Krishna personally gives instructions in Bhagavad Gita, and anyone who follows these instructions is liberated. So Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. This knowledge is not only for Arjuna, it is for each and every one of us to apply in our lives, to act according to the Gita. Following Krishna's instructions is possible when one is a devotee. For Krishna instructs that one should become a devotee. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Bhagavad Gita 1865. Always thinking of Krishna means chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. But unless one is an initiated devotee, he cannot do this. As soon as one becomes a devotee, he engages in deity worship, madhyaji. A devotee's business is to offer obeisances to the Lord and the spiritual master constantly. This principle is the recognized way to come to the platform of bhakti. As soon as one comes to this platform, he gradually understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and simply by understanding Krishna, one is liberated from material bondage. So Prabhupada is explaining, Krishna is saying, fix your mind upon me, become my devotee. So Prabhupada is saying that when one gets initiated, then one begins the worship. One can always chant the holy name and then come to the platform of bhakti. Then gradually understand Krishna. And Krishna says that one who can understand him is never comes back to the material world again. Means he is liberated. How would this go? How would this go?
This will be Tamihamanam Nirhankritam Buddham
Tam ihamanam nirahankritam buddham
Tamhi Amanam Nirhankritam Buddham
nirashisham purnam ananyachoditam
Nirashisham Adam Nirashisham Purnam Ananyachoditam
shikshayantam nijavartamasam stitam
Nrinshikshayantam Nijavartma Samsitam Stitam
prabhum prapadye khiladharma bhavanam.
Prabhum Padde Akhil Dharma Bhavanam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, works just like an ordinary human being, yet he does not desire to enjoy the fruits of work. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and diversions, and completely independent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. This is the sum and substance of our Krishna consciousness movement. We are simply requesting human society to follow in the footsteps of the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. Follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and your life will be successful. That is the summary of the Krishna consciousness movement. The organizer of the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching everyone how to follow Lord Ramachandra, how to follow Lord Krishna, and how to follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this material world, we need a leader for a monarchy or good government. Lord Sri Ramachandra, by his practical example, showed how to live for the benefit of all human society. He fought with demons like Ravana. He carried out the orders of his father, and he remained the faithful husband of Mother Sita. Thus, there is no comparison to Lord Ramachandra's acting as an ideal king. Indeed, people still hanker for Ram Rajya, a government conducted like that of Lord Ramachandra. Similarly, although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he taught his disciple and devotee Arjuna how to lead a life ending in going back home, back to Godhead. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. All teachings, political, economic, social, religious, cultural, and philosophical, are to be found in Bhagavad Gita. One only has to follow them strictly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also comes as Lord Chaitanya, just to play the part of a pure devotee. Thus, the Lord teaches us in different ways, just to make our life successful. And Swayambhuva Manu requests us to follow him. So today, Gita Jayanti, Swayambhuva Manu is saying, follow the Supreme Lord, follow his instructions. Swayambhuva Manu is the leader of mankind, and he has given a book called Manu Samhita to guide human society. Herein, He directs us to follow the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations. These incarnations are described in Vedic literature, and Jayadev Goswami has described 10 important incarnations in summary. Keshavadrita Meena Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So Meena Sharira, that is the Matsya avatar.
Matsya.
Hmm. Okay, and then Keshava Dirta Narahari Rupa. Narahari Rupa, you all know.
Narsingadev.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Nrsingadev. Keshava Dhrida Buddha Sharira. Jai Jagadisha Hare. This also you all know.
Buddha.
Yeah,
Buddha.
Lord Buddha. Swayambhuva Manu instructs us to follow the instructions of God's incarnations, especially Krishna's instructions of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Appreciating Bhakti Marg as instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thus depicted the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was the head at one time. He was holding very important position in the Jagannath temple in Puri. And he was renowned as a great scholar, but he was impersonalist. After he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he heard the Vedanta Sutra from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the explanation of the Vedanta Sutra, he became a pure devotee of the Lord. He became a follower of Lord Chaitanya. So, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartham Eka Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripa Kripam Buddhir Yastam Aham Prapadye. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. This is coming in Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka 6.74. So this is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying, that Lord Krishna has come in the form of his own devotee. He's come as Lord Chaitanya to give us knowledge, give us real knowledge. He's come to teach us how to engage in devotional service, how to give up material activities, material desires. And why has he come? He's an ocean of transcendental mercy. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying, let me surrender unto his lotus feet. Approaching Krishna is very difficult, but Lord Chaitanya has made it easy for us to approach Lord Krishna. He's openly, freely saying, chant Hare Krishna and revive your love for Krishna. In this age of Kali, people cannot follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore the Lord himself takes the part of Sri Krishna Chaitanya to teach personally how to become Krishna conscious. You know, like the teacher, she may say ABC, but the students don't know how to write. So then she writes on the board A, B, C. She teaches. This is how Lord Chaitanya is teaching us how to love Krishna. He asks everyone to follow him and to become a guru to deliver the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amara agyaya guru hana tara ei desha. Lord Krishna is saying, instruct everyone to follow the Lord orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Caitaniya Caritamita Madhya Leela 7.128. Lord Chaitanya is saying, I am on my order, you become a guru. I am empowering you. Yeah, the empowerment is coming from Lord Chaitanya. He's saying, you go and tell everybody about Krishna. That's what he's saying. So to become an instrument in the hands of Lord Chaitanya. How Krishna is saying to Arjun, right? I've already killed these people. Now you've just become an instrument in my hand. Nimitta matram bhava savya sachi. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, on my order, you go and speak about Krishna to everyone. So this is empowerment coming from Lord Chaitanya. The coherent purpose of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to teach human society how to be happy by following the instructions of the Supreme Lord. So we are thinking we will be happy when we can just do whatever we want, indulge in too much sense gratification, have no rules and regulations to follow, and we think that is going to give us happiness. But actually, true happiness we can find only if we can follow the instructions of Krishna, of Lord Chaitanya. No, he's our parent. Like how a naughty child thinks, oh, why is my mother telling me don't put my hand in the fan? She doesn't know. It so looks like so much fun. But the mother is saying, hey, don't put your hand in the fan. You know, you're going to get hurt. And the naughty child is thinking, no, no, why should I listen to my mother? Let me do whatever I want. And he put the hand in the fan and then suffers. So we are like naughty children, you know. Any comments, questions? So the naughtiness we have to give up. We have to follow order of Lord Chaitanya. Hear and chant the holy name. Yeah. Sorry, any comments? Okay, so let's go on then. Shishuko Vacha
Shri Shukha Uvacha
च
iti mantro panishadam
Iti
इति
Mantro Upanishadam
उपनिषदम्
vyaharantam samahitam
Vyaharantam
व्याहरन्तं
Samahitam
समाहितम्
drashtva asura yatu dhana
Drishva
दृष्ट्वा
Asura Yatudha
आसुरायातु दाना
jagdum abhyadravan
Jagdum
जन्तु
Abhyadravanam
अभ्यन्तरं शुद्धा
Ashudha.
Sukadev Goswami continued, Swayambhuva Manu was thus in a trance, chanting the mantras of Vedic instruction known as the Upanishads. Upon seeing him, the Rakshas and Asuras, being very hungry, wanted to devour him. Therefore, they ran after him with great speed. Ah, he's in the forest. No wonders now we don't go to the forest. Imagine if we are trying to chant in the forest, he'll be scared who's going to come and eat me. Oh my God. Tamstatha vasitan vikshya
Tamstatha Avasitan
तामसितान्वेक्ष्य
Vikshya
yagya sarvagato hari
Yagyaha
यज्ञः
Sarvagato Hari
सर्वगतो हरि
yame parivrito dever
Yamehe
यामे
Parivrito
परिवृतो
Deve
देवे
hatva shasatrivishtabam.
Hatva
हत्वा
Asashatrivishtabam.
पुष्पम्
The Supreme Lord Vishnu, who sits in everyone's heart, appearing as Yagyapati, observed that the Rakshasas and demons were going to devour Swayambhuva Manu. Thus, the Lord, accompanied by his sons, named the Yamas, and by all other demigods, killed the demons and Rakshasas. He then took the post of Indra and began to rule the heavenly kingdom. Oh, the Lord protected him. So the various names of the demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, and so on, are not personal names. They are names of different posts. In this regard, we understand that Lord Vishnu sometimes becomes Brahma or Indra when there is no suitable person to occupy these posts. So, Supreme Lord Vishnu, he came as Yagyapati. He killed the Rakshasas, and then he became the Indra. So sometimes the Lord becomes Lord Indra, becomes Indra or Brahma when there's nobody suitable living entity. But here, Lord Shiva is also mentioned as a post, as a different post. Okay. I used to think that Lord Brahma is a post, yes, and other demigods, yes, is a post, but not Lord Shiva. But here, Prabhupada is mentioning they are names of different posts. Lord Shiva
So that
actually
means
also
that
is an expansion of Sadashiv. Huh? I'm
so that
sorry.
means that he changed every manvantara, right? When there's a annihilation, when there's a time for the new Brahmaji to
Change
come,
of
then
well, new Brahma will come only when the universe collapses. But
yeah.
the government, the Indra, Lord
So
Indra,
after every
and
100 years, right?
that's when Brahma is new Brahma.
So
But
yeah, so when
new
new
Manu
Brahmaji
comes,
comes,
yes,
okay, but then maybe Shivji is not. Maybe Shivji is at the level of Brahmaji, and Indra and all are, I don't know,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So yeah, that's right. Because when there's a change of Manu, then there is also some change in the government. Like how we see, oh, if there's a big presidential change, then so many cabinet and whole government changes. But then when there is smaller change, then only some ministers will change. So like that. But Lord Shiva, as I understand, is an expansion of Sadashiv. So the Lord
Even
Shiva
we
in
read,
every
right?
universe, huh?
Yeah, sorry. No, I think we had read that Lord Shiva came from Lord Brahma,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes, yes. He comes from Lord Brahma because when Lord Brahma gets too angry,
Yeah,
then Lord Shiva comes from there.
yeah.
But also we have to understand that Lord Shiva, at least Lord Sadashiv, okay, Lord Sadashiv, he is not a living entity, ordinary living entity. He is also coming from Lord Vishnu, but he's not Vishnu Tattva, and neither is he Jiva Tattva. He is a Tattva on his own,
Rudra
in the
Tattva.
sense,
Huh?
uh,
Rudra. Rudra Tattva or something we called it.
I'm not sure if he's called Rudra Tattva, but the idea is like how from milk you can make yogurt. But once the
Yes.
yogurt is there, you cannot make it milk again.
Yes.
So Lord Shiva is something like that. He's coming from Lord Vishnu, but he's not Vishnu Tattva. He cannot become Lord Vishnu. He is Lord Shiva. So that's Sadashiv, of course. You know. So okay, then going on. Swarochisho dvitiyastu
Swarochisho dvitiyastu
manur agne suto bhavat
manur agni suto
Suto bhavat
yumat sushena rochishmat
dyumats
Sushena Rochismat
pramukhastasya chatmaja.
pramukhastasya chatmaja.
The son of Agni, named Swarochisha, became the second Manu. His several sons were headed by Dyumat, Sushena, and Rochishmat. So how the Manus keep changing. Huh? Manvantara Manurdeva, Manuputra Sureshwara, Rishayo Shavatarascha, Harer Sadviddham Uchyate. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manu, the Manuputra, the sons of Manu, the king of the heavenly planets, and the seven great sages are all partial incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Manu himself, his sons Priyavrat and Uttanapad, the demigods created by Daksh, and the rishis like Marichi were all partial incarnations of the Lord during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu. During that time, the incarnation of the Lord as Yagya took charge of ruling the heavenly planets. The next Manu was Swarochisha. The Manus and the sages and demigods are further described in the following 11 verses. So when Swayambhuva Manu was there, Indra, so Krishna himself has come, well, incarnation. He has incarnated like a partial expansion. It's not Shamsundar himself, but it's a partial incarnation that has become Lord Indra and all the demigods, the Saptarishi, the seven sages. So they are all incarnations, partial incarnations of the Lord. And Manu himself is also a partial incarnation. So that means Swayambhuva Manu. And Manu's sons, here is mentioned, Priyavrat and Uttanapad. They are all partial incarnations of Krishna. Tatrendro rochanastvad asid.
Tatrendro
Tatrendro
Ase
Devascha tushitadayah.
Devascha Tushitadaya
Tushitadyayah
Urjastambhadaya sapta.
Urja Stambhadaya
Stambhadadyayasta
Rashayo brahmavadina.
Rashayo Brahmavadi
Brahmavadina
During the reign of Svarochisha, the post of Indra was assumed by Rochana, the son of Yagya. Tushita and others became the principal demigods, and Urja, Stamba, and others became the seven saints. All of them were faithful devotees of the Lord. So the second Manu's name is Svarochisha. And then Rochana became Indra. And then the other demigods' names are mentioned here. So we are understanding that they are posts. Sometimes Krishna, in his partial incarnation, takes up these posts. Rishestu Veda Shirasas.
Rishishtu Veda Shirasas
Tushita Nama Patni Abhut.
Tushita
Sita
Nama
Nama Patni Abhut
Tasyam Jagye Tato Devo.
Tasyam Jagye Tato
Tato
Devo
Devo
Vibhur iti abhivishrutah.
Vibhur
Vivo
iti
Iti
Abhivishruta
Abhivishwashruta
Vedashira was a very celebrated rishi. From the womb of his wife, whose name was Tushita, came the avatar named Vibhu. Ashtashiti Sahasrani.
Ashtashiti
Astasiti
Sahasrani
Sahasrani
Manayo ye drita vrataha.
Muni
Munayo Ye
Vrita
Drita
Vrita
Vrata
Ana vasikshan vritam tasya.
Anavashiksham Vritam Tasya
Anvasya
Kaumara brahmacharinaha.
Kaumara
Kaumara
Brahmacharina
Brahmacharya
Vibhu remained a brahmachari and never married throughout his life. From him, 88,000 other saintly persons took lessons on self control, austerity, and similar behavior. Tritiya Uttamo Nama.
Titya
Tritiya
Uttumo
Uttamo
Nama
Priya Vrata Suto Manuho.
Priya Vrata
Priyavrata Suto
Sutomano
Manu
Pavana Srinjayo Yagya.
Pavana Srinjayo
Yajna
Hotradyastat nripa.
Hotra
Hotradyastat
O king, the third Manu, Uttama, was the son of King Priyavrat. Among the sons of this Manu were Pavana, Srinjaya, and Yagyahotra. Vashishta Tanaya Sapta.
Vashistha Tanaya Shabda
Rishaya Pramadadaya.
Rishaya Pramadaya
Pramadadaya
Satya Veda Shruta Bhadra.
Satya
Satya
Veda Shruta
Shruta
Bhadra
Bhadra
Deva Indrastu Satyajit.
Deva
Deva Indrasu
Indrastu Satyajit.
Satyajit
During the reign of the third Manu, Pramada and other sons of Vashishta became the seven sages. The Satyas, Vedashrutas, and Bhadras became demigods, and Satyajit was selected to be Indra, the king of heaven. So the government is keeping on changing. When Manu is changing, Indra is also changing, and the demigods are changing. The seven sages are also changing. Dharmasya sun sunratayam tu
Dharmasya
Rachayam
Sunratayam
Tu
Bhagavan Purushottama
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Purushottama
Purushottama
Satyasena iti kyato
Satyasena iti kyato
Jata Satyavrita saha.
Jata Satyavrate
Jatavate
Saha.
In this Manvantar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared from the womb of Sunrata, who was the wife of Dharma, the demigod in charge of religion. The Lord was celebrated as Satyasen, and he appeared with other demigods known as the Satyavritas. Sonrita Vrita Duhushilan.
Sonitra Vrata Dushilan
Asato Yaksha Rakshasan.
Asato
Asato
Yaksharakshasan
Bhuta Druho Bhuta Ganamsh.
Bhuta Tuho Bhuta Ganam
Bhutanam
Chavadit Satyajit Sakha.
Chavadit Satyajit
Sakha
Sakha
Satyasen, along with his friend Satyajit, who was the king of heaven, Indra, killed all the untruthful, impious, and misbehaved yakshas, rakshasas, and ghostly living entities who gave pains to other living beings. Chaturtha Uttama Bhrata.
Chaturtha Uttama Brata
Manur Namna Chatamasa.
Manur Namna Cha Tamasa
Pritu Khyatir Naraketur.
Prithu Kyathir Nara Ketur
Iti Adya Dashatat Suta.
Iti Adya Dasha Tatsuta.
The brother of the third Manu, Uttama, was celebrated by the name Tamasa, and he became the fourth Manu. Tamas had 10 sons headed by Prithu, Khyati, Nara, and Ketu. So, Uttama was the son of Priyavrat. Uh, and Uttama was the third Manu, and now the fourth Manu is Tamasa, was the brother. Let's read one more. Satyaka Harayo Vira.
Satyakaharayo Vira
Devastrishika Ishvara.
Devastrishika Ishvara
Jyotirdhamadya Sapta.
Jyotirdhamadhaya Sapta
Rashayastamasiantare.
Rishayastamase Antare.
During the reign of Tamas Manu, Among the demigods were the Satyakas, Haris, and Viras. The heavenly king, Indra, was Trishikha. The sages in Saptarishi Dham were headed by Jyotir Dhama. Saptarishi Dham, the planet where the 7 sages live. So each time the government is changing. This is the 4th Manu, Tamasa Manu. We'll stop here. Did you have any comments? Questions? No. Hey, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yes.
Shla Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much for listening.